Gentlemen, great to have you both here joining us as we do count down to this latest launch from Blue Origin. And Colonel, I will start with you. As someone who traveled to space, I believe 3 space shuttle missions, I realize this is suborbital space, a little bit different than the space shuttle, which was orbital trips. But what the astronauts could be expected to feel or sense, what it would be like to have those few minutes of weightlessness and be able to stare back at the Earth.
Well, I'm sure that, and good morning, thank you for having me, but I'm sure right now their dominant emotions are the same as mine were sitting on top of the space shuttle, those being fear and joy simultaneously. It is scary to be out on top of a rocket, but at the same time, for these folks, as it is for all astronauts, it's a lifetime dream come true, so they're going to be overwhelmed with joy, even as that fear is nibbling at them. Now, when the rocket engines start, I'm sure they're going to get a heavy vibration in the cockpit when that happens. At T0, the rocket's going to obviously lift off. At that point, they'll get pushed into their seat by G-forces as the rocket continues to accelerate higher and higher. And at some point, I'm not sure what altitude their MECO is, main engine cutoff, but at that point, the engines will stop, the capsule will separate, it'll have an upward trajectory, and at that point, they're going to be weightless. And it'll be about a 3-minute weightless period before the capsule arcs over, falls back into the atmosphere, and then when it starts hitting the resistance of the atmosphere, the G-forces will start rising. They'll be in their seats when that occurs. They'll unstrap from their seats and float around. I'm sure they'll have some video of that once they are in weightlessness. And then the parachutes open, and they come back to the Earth.
Yeah, and we're going to be tracking all of it as we do count down to this launch right now. Garrett, I want to get your thoughts on all of this. As someone who has made trips to space as well with NASA and is now, I believe, still an advisor for SpaceX, which is a rival to Blue Origin. I mean, this moment in time, this new era of commercial human spaceflight that we've seen ushered in this year, how does it speak to the role that the private sector is now playing in this democratization of space, which, quite frankly, is something that's been talked about where American space policy is concerned for several decades now?
Yeah, this is super exciting. It's exactly what we had hoped to see, and it's all happening this year in 2021 with Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic launching, and then SpaceX launching private citizens up into space too. So it's exciting. But today, it's all about Captain Kirk. And as a big Star Trek fan, it's been very exciting to watch this, and it's also let us all go boldly go and make all kinds of really lame jokes, lame nerdy jokes about seeing James Tiberius Kirk go into space. But he's approached us with a sense of humor and a great sense of joy, and for that reason, it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, Mike, I want to get your thoughts on that too. Just this increasing role that the private sector is playing in space flight now. I mean, it marks such a difference from what we've seen in terms of space travel in decades past.
I find it incredibly exciting. It throws me back to the days of the early space race when I was a child. And space was always in the news in this race against the Russians to get to the moon. It certainly inspired me to later pursue a degree in engineering and become an astronaut. And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of young people that are watching these commercial launches, these tourist launches, and getting inspired to get involved in STEM education to become the next engineers and the next astronauts. And also, they'll end up in other STEM-related industries that are going to fuel this nation's economy. So I think it's great. And by the way, when they first announced in 2010 that NASA was going to privatize the low Earth orbit, I thought it was crazy, as did most astronauts. We didn't think it would ever work. We were locked in that. That's the way we've always done it.